Welcome to episode 56 of Run It Straight, where we answer your questions about how to get better at rugby league. We don't sidestep the difficult topics, but rather give direct, straight up answers. In essence, we run it straight. Hello, Cal.
How are we?
Good. And you?
Yeah, very good.
All right, boys. Today we're going to be talking about how to make Harold mats. We're going to be talking about training splits, and we're going to be talking about what your daily nutrition plan should look like. So let's jump into our first question. How can I make Harold mats as a halfback, and how much weight do I need to gain if I'm 175 centimeters, 66 kilos, and 14% body fat? All right, so we got two separate questions there. First, to make mats. How do I make mats? You simply need to be good enough. Think of it this way. In your junior comp, let's say you're playing in the Parramatta comp and there's 10 teams in Div 1. You need to be the best halfback in that entire age group, and that's how you get the halfback position. Okay. If you're not good enough to do that, then you need to break down the role of a halfback, take an honest assessment of your game and what needs improvement. And then you need to look at the opposition, see where they're better than you. And once you've got both of those pieces of information, then you need to go to work on improving those areas. Would you agree on the halfback side?
100%. Yeah. As you said first, you just need to be good enough. You need to stand out in your junior team. And then when it does come to trials, you need to be better than any other half that's trialing. Man. Yep.
And we can get to talking about, look, this is one of those things that we get asked oftentimes a lot. The trials are coming up. How can I do better at the trials? How can I make the team from the trials? And whether fortunate or unfortunate, it is what it is. The majority of the team is picked before the trial game. Okay. The selectors from within your age group in your district, if they're going to be picking 15 boys, they've probably picked 10 or 11 or 12 from advice from coaches and going out and watching particular players playing during the season, and they see those players dominate in that position. Okay, they've already made most of their minds up. So look, it sucks. The trial system is what it is. There's a lot of other people that are talking about that, but you got to do well at the trial. But if you do well at the trial, but then all during the season you've had big games, there's been semi-finals and grand finals, and you haven't really sort of owned the game and performed, you're not going to get picked.
No, 100%.
Yeah. Now, as far as the second part of the question, which was how much weight do I need to gain if I'm 175 centimeters, 66 kilo and 14% body fat? I would say you definitely need to gain some size. But look, for a half at Harold Matt's level, it's not horrible, but what, like 70, 72 kilos?
Yeah, around that 70 mark. 66 probably a little bit too low.
Yeah.
Especially you have 17, a lot of the forwards are edging towards that 90, 100 kilos, especially back rows these days. They're getting a lot bigger.
You probably want to be 70, 71, 72 kilos. And look, it's March right now. So this gives you until November when preseason would be starting. That gives you 7-8 months. So you got some work to do. You got to get in the gym, got to start lifting 4 days a week. You got to watch your food, track your food, get in a surplus.
Make sure your protein's nice and high.
Yeah.
Things like that.
So I'd say 70, 72.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. I'm a 16-year-old centre, 173 centimetres tall and weighing 62 kilos. My Bronco at the moment is 5'12". What should my training split look like, considering I have club training on Wednesdays and Fridays? I'm happy to do gym work in the morning if I need to. Cal, you want to have a crack at this?
Yeah, sweet. So his little overarching goal, if you look long term, you need to be putting weight on. Those 62 kilos at 16 and you're a centre, you definitely need to be, again, around that, 75, 80, maybe even a little bit heavier going into the back end of the year. So you have a fair bit of weight to gain. So priorities is definitely weight training and eating in a surplus. But in terms of your weekly split, I'd train 4 days a week. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and a Friday morning as well. And that'll consist of 2 upper body days, 2 lower body days. Now, within those days, you have set exercises, set reps, aim at progressive overload. With that, while you are getting heavier and while you are gaining size, we want to make sure your speed and conditioning is still up to point and up to scratch. You'll hit that probably once a week with your club training, but again, we'd still like to look at getting an
field session in where you're doing your speed and your change of direction. And remember, with speed training, for everyone who's watching, speed training isn't sprinting 20 meters, jogging back and sprinting 20 meters again. It's sprinting 20 meters and then resting 30 seconds or 60 seconds or 90 seconds. So you'll allow your nervous system to completely recover between reps. That will actually train your speed.
Yeah, and a good rule of thumb with that is every 10 meters, you want to have at least 30 seconds rest. So if you're doing a 20-meter sprint, at least a minute rest.
Yep.
As Joe said, gives you enough recovery in between to make sure you're getting that speed every single time. As well as that, you'll have your game on the weekend. I'd even advise maybe trying to go for a long run, with maybe a 4 and an 8K, just to make sure your fitness isn't going backwards. Again, you are gaining weight, you are big size.
Like 5'12" isn't particularly impressive, is it?
No.
Look, for someone who's that light, yeah.
You want to be, we've got boys who are 85 kilos running in the 4s, so we want to make sure that's definitely into the 4s, maybe even 445, 450. But priority, definitely gain some size. As I said, weight train 4 times a week. I didn't touch on nutrition, but trying to get that, start tracking calories, get into a surplus. Like Joe mentioned before, get, your protein up to 2 grams per kilo of body weight. And you're in it for the long haul. Your body might take a little bit of a backseat this year.
Yeah, and look, we said you kind of need to get to 80 kilos. That's not going to happen this year. I would be looking at this with an 18-month sort of goal of if it's March now, then look at September next year. Set some long-term goals and then go to work on it. Otherwise, you're just going to get fat and turn into a blob, which is not helpful for an outside back.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're 16 years old as well. You've got plenty of time.
Yep.
You've got plenty of time, so don't rush it. We've seen it plenty of times before with boys who come in here. They've gone on a bulk and they've gained 20 kilos in 6 months, and 90% of it's fat.
Yep.
And they spill over. So you don't want to be like that. You want to take your time with it. Definitely gain weight, but gain it at a steady pace where you're not gaining too much body fat.
Yep, 100%. Okay, next question. What are the best foods and what is the best eating plan for a day? Chicken, broccoli, and rice, bro.
5 times a day.
All right, so start with your goal is generally, because you've said what are the best foods and what is the best eating plan for a day. We don't know whether you're trying to gain or you're trying to lose here. So start with whatever your goal is, which, like I said, is either to gain or to gain lean tissue or to drop body fat. And if you're trying to gain, all that means is you're looking to eat in a surplus, which means you consume more calories than your body needs on a daily basis. Or if you're trying to lose some body fat, you want to be eating in a deficit, which means you're eating less calories than your body needs. So we've got this amount of calories, whatever that particular number is. The next thing to do is to break that down into the 3 macronutrients, which is protein, carbs, and fats. Keeping in mind that an optimal amount of protein, whether you're looking to gain weight or to lose body fat and hang on to your lean tissue, look, it sits between 1.6 and 2.4 grams. We always shoot for 2, okay? That way, if you go a little bit over, it's fine. You go a little bit under, it's okay, but shoot for 2. So if you're weighing, did he say? He didn't say what he was weighing. So let's say you weigh 80 kilos, just for argument's sake. You want to be consuming at least 160 grams of protein per day. Now, when it comes to fat, you don't really want to drop it too much below 20%. So we're talking about you go into MyFitnessPal, you enter in your calories, you enter in the protein as a percentage so that you're getting that 160. Then when it comes over to the fat tab, you don't want to be dropping that below 20%, because if it gets too low, you start to have issues with your hormones, testosterone production and whatnot, okay? And then the last one is your carbs, which basically can fill up the remainder there. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to put your fat down to 20. Some people would prefer to have less carbs in their diet and eat more fats, and maybe like cheese and stuff like that. But I wouldn't drop the fat any lower than 20%. Now, as far as like the best foods, firstly, whatever helps you hit your macros. So whatever allows you to reach the calorie goal and reach your macro goal to start with, that's your best food.
Yep.
Next is if you can make them more whole foods, as opposed to processed foods, though that's going to be a better choice. So a whole food is something that doesn't have ingredients. So like a potato or an apple or chicken breast or something like that is a whole food, a banana, okay, as opposed to something which is processed, which is when it comes in a packet and it's some kind of bar and there's 42 different ingredients. Not that I don't want you to eat those things, but like we said, the best diet's the one that you can stick to, that means that you hit your calories and your macros. But then that next level up you're looking for is try to eat a little bit more whole foods. They tend to be more nutrient dense, healthier for you. And the third thing is like we said, it's the best eating plan is the one that hits your macros, that hits your calories, that you can stick to. But honestly, use ChatGPT. I've been actually getting an increasing amount of people to use this now, because they're like, no, Joe, don't tell me that. Give me something I can use. And it's like, all right, well, how many calories are you on? I'm on 1,800. And then what's your protein? 160 grams. All right, go into ChatGPT and put the prompt in. Give me a 7-day, so a 1-week food plan, 1,800 calories, 160 grams of protein, or whatever it happens to be. Tell it what you want, the calories and then the macro split, and say, and give me the actual numbers for these foods, and then just hit go. It'll think for a minute and then it'll give you the exact plan. And if there's some, well, I don't know how to make that, ask ChatGPT. If it says spaghetti bolognese, ask it, can you give me a recipe that matches these macros? And it'll literally, and then you can, the next step you can go, can you give me a shopping list that will allow me to get all of this stuff? So then you can go to the shop and you can buy the 5 things that you need to make the spaghetti bolognese. It'll tell you how to make the spaghetti bolognese, and then you've got the macros and the calories that are in the spaghetti bolognese.
Yeah.
And
then if you're a real fussy, you can go give me alternatives to meal.
Like you said, if you ask it to give you 7, it's like, well, I don't like day 1 and day 2, the meal 3 on both of those, give me an alternative. Sure.
Sort of thing.
And it'll do it. Like, the technology's there, so use it. Anything else that I haven't really...
Just on the back of that as well, you don't want to be tracking your food for a week, 2 weeks, and then, not care about it anymore. Consistency over the long term is going to give you the best results.
Keep tracking.
Keep tracking, no matter what. And even if you have a family event on, still track to the best of your ability.
Yeah, just do the best job you can.
Long term. Think long term. Think consistency.
Beautiful. All right, that is that episode done. You tell them to do the things.
Like and subscribe. Give us a follow on Instagram, and please turn that notification bell on YouTube. Please DM us any questions you may have. No question's a dumb question. Please give as much detail as you can. Joe will be answering the questions you may have. If you don't want him answering the video, that's fine. He'll answer them.
I'll just answer them in Instagram DM. So go in there and fire your questions away. I get questions from everywhere, like literally everywhere.
So yeah, fire away. And as I said, no question's a dumb question. But until next time, we'll see you then.
See you in the next one.